He started to hit on the gas, Ben let go, and then the kid started to drag me in the car a half of a block. Generational poverty has gone on long enough. It's time that we start addressing the root of this problem, because there's no amount of officers you're going to put on the streets in Atlanta that could have stopped this from happening.
Many people ask me, Drew, what's a woke Wookie? Many people ask me, I see in the comment sections on Twitter or on Instagram or all over social media, especially after I use the terms on Tim Pool. Many people ask me, Drew, what's a WOKETARD? Why do you call these people WOKETARDed? That's very offensive. Well, it's because of episodes like tonight's. we have a literal mayoral candidate in Atlanta that is a total WOKETARD that has voted to defund the police, who finds himself in a situation getting his car stolen, a Mercedes Benz, by the way, a two-door coupe, which is white, which is a person of color definitely suffering from financial oppression in this country, right? But now he's working hand in hand with the police officers with a full investigation to find his car. They found his car, and now they're looking for the kids. And he comes out and says that the reason why the kids decided to jack his car is because of systemic racism, is because of oppression, and all these things you hear from critical race theory that comes from the top all the way down to children, right? So we're going to get into this tonight, guys. Welcome to Drew Hernandez Live. My name is Drew Hernandez, hopefully one of your favorite podcast hosts here on YouTube. If you guys can do me a huge favor, if you're watching for the very first time, please subscribe to the channel right now immediately, and also hit that bell notification and toggle on the all selection. YouTube only leaves you on an occasional selection, so you got to do it yourself. So please do that for me right now and destroy and smash that like button quickly right now. Do not wait. Let the algorithm know you want to continue to see content just like this. So thank you guys for that as well. And like I said, we are 100%. This show is 100% supported by the people, we the people. That is every single one of you people. So thank you guys very much. You guys can check out the Drew Hernandez merch store. You can check out these new shirts that we have in the store. The link is in the description below. We have a variety for men and for women. If you guys like this one, I personally really love this one. I love the logo right here on the side. I think it's dope. It's classy, straight to the point, really cool. You can get it for your son, or even get it for your daughter, or get it for yourself. So that is how you can support this show. The link is in the description below. Or you can give a one-time donation on my website through Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at drewhlive.com. The link is in the description. Shout out to the DH Alliance, those that support me in the membership section on this channel monthly for as low as $5 a month. So consider doing that as well. That is another way you can support me. Or we do super chats, Q&A format at the end of every single show. So if you want to support independent alternative media such as myself, we're extremely deboosted on this channel, over 55K subs and can barely pull 5K an episode, 4K, 3K if we're lucky. Okay, YouTube has destroyed this channel, so it's very hard for us to monetize regardless. If we post long form, short form, I hear it from all kinds of people. We try it all. YouTube has screwed this channel. That's where it stands. That's where it stays. So we need you guys' help to support us. Drop a super chat right now, in the middle of the show, at the end of the show. We do Q&A at the end of every single show. That is how you can support me on this channel and this show. So thank you guys very much. Let's start this now. Alrighty, guys. Let's take a look at this. There's this woke-tarded mayor, a mayoral candidate out of Atlanta that literally voted to defund the police, that got behind the defund the police, the woke-tard, woke Wookiee stupid narrative and agenda that came from Black Lives Matter and Antifa and all the critical race theory morons that peddle this conspiracy theory. It's not just critical race theory, it's critical race conspiracy theory, okay? Because these people have no evidence to prove all of the systemic racism that exists coming from white people in the workplace and in Hollywood and in education and everywhere you look. There's just white supremacists under every single rock in every single corner that is just bringing down the black man or suppressing the brown people, right? That's what you hear from these people. Everyone is systemically oppressed, okay? You have the critical race theory. You have all this stuff that's being taught and shoved down the mouths of thousands, possibly millions of children in universities and in high schools, and the list goes on, where they teach intersectionality. For those of you that don't know what that is, basically intersectionality is there's a totem pole of how oppressed people are, okay? And the top of the totem pole, you're least oppressed, okay? Just to make this simple. So let's just say the top of the totem pole of the people oppressed would probably be white people. And as you further go down, the darker your skin gets, the more oppressed you are. And so it becomes intersectioned when they start adding little subsections. So if you're let's say you're like you're brown like me, you're Hispanic, and you're a homosexual. That just puts you in a oppressed category, sectionalized further down the totem pole. But if you're a black homosexual, holy crap, you are way down the totem pole. Okay, you're sectionalized. Let's say you're a black female trans woman, you are like the bottom of the barrel with these people. This is what they teach, okay? So when people get behind this critical race theory stuff and it ends up in policy and the defund the police agenda gets involved because their philosophy is there's a totem pole out there and there's a bunch of oppressed blacks out there. And, you know, there's this conspiracy theory that even Maxine Waters peddles that black people and people of color are being specifically targeted by rogue cops with zero evidence. They go hand in hand. This critical race theory, it goes hand in hand with policy and the defund the police narrative because the critical race theory suggests that people of color are being targeted disproportionately by cops, white killer cops, which there's no statistical evidence to prove that. So you get morons, you get woketards like this mayoral candidate in Atlanta, councilman, that votes for this stuff based on this philosophy. He will vote, which he did, to defund the police because of this philosophy. These are the types of men and women, or whatever the hell they identify as, that are now infiltrating politics. They are now not only influencing legislation, they are passing legislation with this critical race theory, racist, might I add, which I believe, propaganda and narrative and philosophy that goes intertwined and laced with this policy. So stupid woketards like this vote to defund the police, okay? And we saw this all 2020 because the conspiracy that's been peddled that blacks are just targeted by minorities. And after George Floyd got killed, not because he was black, that's a fact, okay? That's fact. In the court of law, they could not prove that George Floyd was killed because he was black, okay? So now we have legislation that's being written up, defund the police narratives, agendas that are unfolding in Los Angeles. You see this in Seattle. You've seen this in Portland. You've seen it in Austin, Texas. Obviously, you've seen it in New York and all these big blue Democrat-run cities because they believe that progression is decimating law and order somehow. Somehow that became a thing, okay? It became a thing because the Democrat Party sold their soul to the communists through Black Lives Matter and the neo-anarchists through Antifa, and they get threatened whenever they don't get their way, so they just bow to these people. That's what the Democrat Party does and continues to do, and the moment they stand up and say, you know what, this is a bad idea, racist! That's how this works. Because their critical race theory, these neo-Marxists, that is how it works. You don't agree with us? Canceled, sent to the abyss. That's how communists roll. And you study history, it ends up in millions of people getting slaughtered for having the wrong opinions. Period. That's where this country is successfully going because neo-communist Marxist organizations like Black Lives Matter have become the mainstream in this country. They're not the majority, but they are the mainstream. And you have a lot of corporations that bend the knee, the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, all these woke corporations. You take a look at Hollywood and you take a look at Disney and the list goes on. They all bow the knee to this neo-communist organization because these people hide behind the color of their skin. And if you dare come out and criticize them, racist! How dare you speak out against me being at the bottom of the totem pole? It's like you don't have to be at the bottom of the totem pole. I mean, yeah, you're black. I mean, you're really not at the bottom of the totem pole. That's just a psychological jail that you live in because these crazy critical race theory white professors in your universities keep telling black people that's where they are, and you just believe it because you're stupid, and you think you're woke and you're nuanced because you believe these things. But in reality, in my opinion, it's philosophical racism that is continuing to keep black people in this little jail box that they just refuse to leave, especially on the left, and especially even Hispanics as well. You continue to tell people they're victims. You continue to tell people that they are oppressed and that they deserve the world. They're just going to believe it. And we have a political side that believes these things without any statistical evidence. And the reason why I say this is because when you see it in Hollywood, you laugh, right? When you see it in pop culture, you laugh. When you see it in the music industry, you laugh. When you see it in the NFL, it's like these woketards, these idiots, these stupid people. I think it was like a joke in 2015. You know, when you started to see people like Colin Kaepernick, you know, take a knee on the anthem, and all the Black Lives Matter neo-Marxists started getting behind him, and patriotism started becoming a bad and a negative thing. The NFL bent the knee because Colin Kaepernick's black, even though he literally grew up in a white home. Very privileged life, by the way, but all of a sudden he's a victim, making millions of dollars in the NFL. But I think we started to see this trend become more mainstream. 2015, you know, kind of coming in on the end of the Obama years. And I think people just saw it and laughed at it. They got triggered when they watched the NFL. I'm not watching the NFL anymore. But now we got some serious politicians in power. You got people like AOC. You got people like Rashid Tlaib. You got people like Ilhan Omar. Okay, these people are founded upon critical race theory. These people believe this stuff and they will die, okay, to fight for these causes. These are people that change your life because these are politicians that have the ability to enact things with this philosophical thought. And the reason why this is dangerous is because now you also have these mayoral candidates that are coming out and they have the same philosophical views, and they're infiltrating mayors, they're infiltrating local government, they've infiltrated education. And now we're starting to see the damage of the defund the police narrative, which is backed up with the philosophical idea of critical race theory, where blacks and browns are all oppressed and they're just getting targeted and slaughtered in the streets, right? Cities have done it. Crime is skyrocketing in Los Angeles. Homicides are skyrocketing in Los Angeles, in Portland, in New York, in Austin, in Seattle. All of these woke cities that thought they were so woke, just bending the knee to the blacks and Black Lives Matter, not even realize they're communists wanting to decimate law and order in this country to successfully destabilize. This is just the test run, man. Imagine if this was the majority in the United States. Imagine if every single state in this country bowed the knee to Black Lives Matter, thinking that they're helping blacks, when in reality it's just blacks being used and the community being hijacked by communists to push an agenda that destabilizes law and order by default, that makes the destabilization of the United States a successful thing to take place and unfold in this country. Imagine if this was happening across the entire nation. Imagine homicides rising everywhere. Imagine these people really were in power. Why, just like Drew, why are you saying this? Why are you giving such a really in-depth introduction? Because the reason why I say this is because these people believe in this stuff. Now they've infiltrated politics. Now they've infiltrated positions of power. And now they're going to continue to infiltrate, and they're going to gain more influence if we don't come out and start speaking out against this and infiltrating the same channels and infiltrating the same avenues of life and beating them at their own game. This is why I always encourage people, meet them where they're at. That's what I'm trying to do in the media. Meet them where they're at. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll run for office, but that's not the only way to win the culture war. We have the political war. I'm not talking about physical violence. I'm talking about philosophical ideas. We have the culture war and we have the political war. It's an information war on all fronts. Okay. The United States of America is successfully being subverted on a daily basis. They've infiltrated Disney, for God's sake. Star Wars has been destroyed. Okay. You look at Marvel, it's destroyed, right? You look at music. Everything is tailor made for critical race theory and Marxism, and you see it everywhere. You open up your Uber app, you open up your app store. You look at Snapchat, you look at Instagram, and you look at the little what are they called when you want to post a story? And there's like a little symbol that says, Black stories, right? Like you see this everywhere, right? It's all over the culture. We have to meet them where they're at. Now, the reason why I think this is hilarious is because you have to see not only the hypocrisy in this, but you have to see the double standard that's accompanied with elitism. It's like, Drew, what do you mean by that? Okay, this guy is a mayoral candidate, a councilman. This guy's involved with local politics, okay? But he preaches the oppression message. You're going to hear that in this video. This guy claims that minorities are victims of oppression and systemic, all this crap, right? All the crap they always say. You'll hear it in the video. This is what this guy claims. But we're going to get to that as well. He claims that generational poverty is a serious issue. You're going to hear this in this video. But what I want you to see is not only the hypocrisy, but the double standard, but I want you to see the elitism in this person. This person claims, okay, This guy's a mayoral candidate in Atlanta. He claims that minorities are experiencing generational poverty, but the guy drives a coupe white Mercedes Benz, okay? While at the same time, he's still continuing to rail on police as he works hand in hand with the police to recover his expensive luxury car. Okay, now listen, on the surface, you're like, what a hypocrite, that's stupid. No, that's elite. That's elitism. This guy is so elite in his head that he thinks that you're too stupid to see, that he's preaching that minorities are oppressed. He's driving a luxury vehicle. He's saying that cops are killing minorities, okay? And he makes these outlandish claims that generational poverty is why this is happening, while at the same time working hand in hand with law enforcement. But he voted to defund the police. That's not just someone being a hypocrite. That's someone peddling a message, knowing what they're saying, yet still, in their elitism, working with the very people that they claim are the problem in society. Because it's protection for them, but not for you. It's protection for them, but not for you. You've seen this with Nancy Pelosi. You've seen this at the Capitol. You've seen this with AOC. You see this with Maxine Waters when she goes to a protest. She's being protected by armed guards. You see this all the time. It's not just hypocrisy. It's not just a double standard. This is intentional. These people do this intentionally. They know they're being hypocrites, but they don't give a damn because you're the peasants and they're the ones that are on the top. They're the ones on the thrones. And they don't care about your politics. They don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. They don't give a damn. They get the armed guards regardless. They don't care. They don't care at all. Well, here's the video. It's pretty hilarious. This is the WOKETARD Defund the Police mayoral candidate that got his Mercedes Benz stolen in Atlanta and at the same time continues to slander the police as he's working with them as they recover his vehicle. And continues to preach his message that the reason why it happened was because minorities are experiencing generational poverty. That's the excuse. They stole his luxury. We'll get to that. Take a look.
Meeting with community leaders when he says a group of very young thieves jumped in his car and took off.
Fox 5's Patty Pan spoke to the councilman. She joins us now live tonight with more. Patty, what did he tell you?
Yeah, you know, the councilman tells us that police actually have found his car, but really we don't have any other details than that. Now, the councilman also said he never saw it coming. He tells us he was literally 3 or 4 feet away from his car when he believes what appeared to be 4 young children, he says no more than 11 or 12 years old, got into his car. But really what's most shocking is he believes that one of the children was no more than 6 or 7 years old, and at the time he saw them, he says they were holding a toy.
There was no care for loss of life and for themselves or myself.
Atlanta councilman and mayoral candidate Antonio Brown says what happened to him in his district in the Dixie Hills community in Northwest Atlanta is a perfect example of what is happening to our youth and why we as a society need to step up and help. Councilman Brown tells Fox 5 4 young children stole his white Mercedes coupe just before noon Wednesday, and at the time he was standing just a few feet away speaking with community leader Ben Norman.
One kid was in the driver's seat. Ben attempted to open the door to get him out of the car. He fought with Ben. I had then engaged and tried to get him out of the car. The 3 other kids were trying to figure out to get in the car or stay out of the car. He started to hit on the gas. Ben let go, and then the kid started to drag me in the car a half of a block.
Officers were called to Verbena Street in Northwest Atlanta. According to Councilman Brown, he turned off his car, which has a keyless start, got out of the car, and was standing nearby when he says he noticed 4 young children, no more than 11 or 12 years old, the youngest possibly 6 or 7, walking around a nearby store, and within seconds, they were in his car.
One of them jumped in on the passenger side, hopped over real quick, and started the car up. It's one of those keyless cars where you just push the button. And, quickly, we try to go there and we're going to maybe try to get the kid out of the car or something, but like, what do you do to a kid, right? Right. It's like, so he'd already started, figured out, they had plans. They knew what they were going to do. Just hit the gas and he peeled out, and took off.
Generational poverty has gone on long enough. It's time that we start addressing the root of this problem, because there's no amount of officers you're going to put on the streets in Atlanta that could have stopped this from happening.
Oh my gosh. And people support woketards like this. People support people like this, okay? This is why I call it woketarded. You know, people are like, why are you saying that? Because that's what it is. It's literally what it is. It's the best word to describe it, okay? Number one, there's a few points I want to make about this because this guy, actually there's some more stuff that's a part of this story. Let's take a look at this, okay? Let's open this. So Atlanta Councilman Antonio Brown, who voted to defund police, has cars stolen. An Atlanta mayoral candidate who voted to defund millions of dollars from the local police department's budget, okay, reportedly had his car stolen by a group of young thieves this week and wound up thanking the cops for their help. City Councilman member Antonio Brown had just gotten out of his white Mercedes coupe. Ooh, keyless entry, by the way, to speak to fellow community leader Ben Norman in Northwest Atlanta's Dixie Hills community Wednesday when he spotted 4 or 5 kids, the youngest only 6 or 7. The children were walking around a store and within seconds were inside Brown's car, he said. And I just showed you that whole video. Brown said he filed a report with the Atlanta Police Department, the same police department that he voted to defund. Yep. This is what he tweeted on Wednesday night. Thanks to everyone that reached out to me. Appreciate the love and support. My car hasn't been recovered, but the situation could have ended a lot worse. Thanks to @Atlanta_police for taking swift action to address the situation. It's time we reimagine Atlanta together. Defund the police, right? It's defund the police for you, not for him. It's for you. Okay, so yes, see the hypocrisy. Yes, see the double standard, but understand and identify the elitism. It's defund the police for you, but not for him. That's what people need to see in this kind of stuff. Authorities confirmed they later found his car, but did not say if they made any arrests. Brown said he doesn't want to press charges. It appeared that the kids acted out of desperation, Brown told them. This is generational poverty. This is a generational poverty issue, Brown said. These kids, it's 12:30 in the afternoon. Why aren't they in school? Why aren't we enforcing systems to ensure that they are not in school? That they're in recreational centers. WOKETARD! Oh my gosh. Brown, who is under indictment on several federal fraud charges related to alleged incidents that occurred years before he took city council office in 2019, launched his mayoral run on the platform of reimagining public safety and policing in Atlanta. He was one of 7 council members who voted in support of an ordinance to withhold $73 million from Atlanta's police department budget until Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom's administration drafted a plan to reinvent the city's culture of policing, the outlet reported. The ordinance came in the wake of numerous demonstrations. That's why he voted for it. Okay, and that's who this woketard is. Let's take this down. Now, there's a couple things a couple points that I wanted to make here, okay? This guy votes to defund the police, okay? He voted yay to defund $73 million out of the Atlanta Police Department's budget, okay? And now here we are. Now that homicides are rising, now that crime is rising, okay? Now here we are in 2021. This guy is driving a white Mercedes Benz coupe, okay? While peddling the critical race theory that blacks and people of color are oppressed across everywhere. There he is, mobbing, 2-door, white Mercedes coupe. Just defunded the police off a lie. Yeah, son. Yeah, I'm a person of color, son. We just defunded the police $73 million, son, in my 2-door white Mercedes-Benz coupe, son. Gets out the car. I got a meeting. Oh, crime's gone up because of a stupid decision that I voted yay on. Oh, my car's stolen. Dude gets dragged by criminals. They're little kids. The guy's a beta. Who gets their car stolen by little kids? Okay, number one, if you're voting for a guy that gets his car stolen by kids, you might want to rethink that one. That's a beta male. Just going to leave that out there, okay? I'm just going to say that. But now he's working with police officers. He thanks police officers for finding his luxury car, okay, in a city in which he claims that people of color are oppressed and experiencing generational poverty. Does anybody believe this? The guy's obviously not white. But there he is. What? How could this happen? The reason why these desperate kids stole my luxury vehicle is because we're experiencing generational poverty. WOKETARD, okay? Oh, no, this is a problem of generational poverty. That is why these poor kids stole my luxury two-door Mercedes Benz. I'm sorry, man. People get so offended when I use that term WOKETARD. Like, oh, Drew, how could you say that? Because that's what it is, okay? It's too offensive for you. There's the door. I don't care, all right? That is what this literally is. This is what these people preach. This is what these people expect you to believe. They peddle this narrative that minorities are experiencing generational poverty. They're so poor. My God, we have to fix this. Here he is, mobbing down two-door Mercedes-Benz coupe and gets jacked by a bunch of kids, okay, poor kids, apparently, and then blames it on generational poverty. Well, the guy's driving a Mercedes Benz. You just can't with these people anymore. You just can't. This is how, listen, now here's another point I want to make about this. All jokes aside, this is how criminal activity is now going to be justified. It's going to be blamed on racism. Okay? So put yourself in this situation. You're in your city, you're in your state, you're in your town. Same thing happens to you. Let's say you're white, okay? Because his response is, the reason why this happened is because we're experiencing generational poverty. So it's a good thing that these little kids came to try and jack my car because they're just desperate. This is just a symptom to a problem. That's what he's saying, okay? And what is the whole generational poverty agenda? Where does the generational poverty message come from? Critical race theory. It's a symptom of racism, systemic racism in this country. Okay, so think of the logic, all right? If you're white, this is what this means for you. If you're white, using this guy's logic, if you're white and a bunch of blacks come or brown people come, jack your car, and they're poor, they're justified because you're white and you're part of the problem of systemic racism in this country. It doesn't matter if you don't believe it in it or not. This is just what they declare. You're white, so they're justified because they're poor, they're black, and they're brown, and they're desperate, so they're justified stealing your car. That's what this guy's logic leads to. Lawlessness. They blame it on racism. I've been saying this for a very long time. The black community and minorities, I condemn it because it's wrong. So I can come out and say this. The black community and minorities are now moving into a place where they will soon be immune to the law and to crime because they will literally be able to just blame it on racism. Because now you have mayoral candidates. These are councilmen that are coming out and saying, oh, it's all right. It's justified. They tried to jack my luxury car because they're poor minorities. They're experiencing generational poverty. You guys think I'm lying? You think I'm too crazy to go that far? No. That's where it's going. And I condemn it. As a person of color, I condemn it. I think it's wrong. It shouldn't happen. It's lawless. It's racist. And I do not stand behind it. That's why I use my platform to condemn it. Okay? I can't speak for other minorities. I could speak for myself. Okay, whether conservative or liberal, I don't care. I think we should come out and speak out against these types of things because the white community are going to be the ones that end up suffering from this kind of stuff. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. These minorities, these crazy blacks on the left and brown people on the left, okay, that look just like me, these people are now going to move into a generation where they will be able to get away with crime and criminal acts because it will be justified because they're oppressed. They're poor. They're experiencing generational poverty, so it's justified for a person of color to jack a white person's car. That's where this thinking goes. It's not good. It's wrong. And it's dangerous. And it's racist. That's where this goes. And it's just funny how this guy's driving a luxury car and he gets jacked and he blames it on racism and oppression. Like, just think about his logic in reverse, okay? He ended that video by saying that this is a symptom of generational poverty. He's obviously speaking about minorities, okay? He's a minority himself. The guy's obviously not white. He's trying to tell you that his community is experiencing generational poverty, but there he is as a person of color driving around the community in a 2-door white Mercedes Benz coupe. And I'm supposed to believe these people when they tell me that minorities are so oppressed. Everything's got to change. Blacks are oppressed. Minorities are oppressed. My God, they just cannot get ahead. While he's sitting there in his 2-door Mercedes Benz coupe, chilling. This guy knows what he's doing. Okay? This guy knows what he's doing. And it's morons that sit there and just continue to allow it. They continue to allow it. This is literally another example of the WOKETARD. Okay? It just literally is. Because, you know, people get offended at me for saying that. And I'm like, why are you offended at me? These people think you're stupid. That's why they do it. Don't get mad at me. These people are running circles around you if you don't see through this stuff. I'm just the one that put a label on it so it triggers people and it gets their attention. That's how you have to do things now, okay? You have to have over-the-top offensive labels, slap it on people, so now you get people's attention to see who these people really are. All in truth. All in truth. This is defund the police for you, okay? And the last thing, again, I'm going to reiterate this. I know it's funny to make fun of these people. I know it's funny to call them woketards. I know it's funny to make up these. Listen, I don't do this to be funny. I do this to make you feel a certain way so it wakes you up, okay? Because people will most likely always remember how you made them feel, okay, in that moment. And if you made them feel a certain way, then they're going to remember like what they heard and what they experienced. So that's why I am so passionate in what I do. But with that, what I want you to understand, yes, it's good to do that, but at the same time, see the hypocrisy, see the double standard, but at the same time, I need you to identify the elitism in these people. These people know they're hypocrites. They know it's a double standard, but they do not care. They just don't care. It's defund the police for you and your community, but not for him. Because when he gets his freaking luxury car stolen, oh, it's back to the police we go find my car. And then condemns them in the process. Literally, there's not a number of an amount of cops. What do you say at the end? There's not an amount of police officers in Atlanta that you could have had that could have stopped this. Just crapping on cops still. Elite. Okay, he knows he's speaking down to cops. He knows he's using them as peons anyways to go fetch his luxury vehicle. He knows he's preaching a message that doesn't correspond with reality. He knows he's getting away with it and he doesn't care. These elitists are not who they claim to be. They claim to be the oppressed. Oh, we just need to be more diverse. Vote for me. Get me in there. So we're less white. No. They know that there's millions of Wookiees out there that are so stupid that they believe it. They don't question it. They know this. So I tell people, man, think for yourself. Think for yourself. And these people know exactly what they're doing. If you guys agree with that, drop a 1 in the comment section below. Alrighty, guys. Well, let's take a look. How is defunding the police really going? Is it an actual good idea to cut the budget in big blue cities, to cut the budget for the police? I'm all for police reform, but defunding the police is just a stupid thing, okay? Getting rid of police completely, getting rid of their budget, and redirecting it to somewhere else is only going to increase violence. You want to know who loves the defund the police message more than anybody in this country? You want to know who it is? Violent criminals. okay? Drug dealers, murderers, pedophiles, rapists. You want to know who loves the defund the police more than Black Lives Matter, which you find a lot of those kind of people in Black Lives Matter, which and Antifa, those people, because they know that the funding in the police is going to go down, so they're not going to have any more interactions with them. And these people have successfully done this, but is it seriously a good agenda? It's a very stupid question to ask, right? Sad that we have to ask this question, but I'm aware there are people that watch this show that need to know the facts. So let's get this up. Police reform looms large over local races as crime rates rise. Okay, this is going to be a huge thing in the midterms, and I don't think Democrats really thought this through because you have a lot of big blue cities that are experiencing some seriously higher percentages of crime rates, homicides, violent rapes. You're seeing all kinds of drugs. You're seeing everything begin to just destroy and decimate communities. And a lot of Democrats, a lot of liberals that thought this was progressive are starting to wake up, which is a good thing. And I don't think Democrats thought this one through. They sold their soul to Black Lives Matter thinking they're helping the blacks, when in reality, it's just a communist agenda to decimate the country, okay? Destabilize law and order. So Democrats didn't really think this one through. And if I was a Republican running in the midterms, I would make this my message. It would have to be, because this is something that universally is a problem to anybody, regardless their politics, okay? When you got let's just say you got a white liberal soccer mom that lives in Seattle that is just gung-ho Black Lives Matter and supports the SJWs and is a total virtue signaler, and her kids are walking out at school. Now you got a bunch of crackheads, okay? Now your community looks like crap. Now you have a bunch of violent rapists moving in around you, homeless camps beginning to make way, Black Lives Matter protesters running around shining flashlights in their freaking houses, scaring the hell out of all their kids. Now you're going to get some people to wake up, okay? And Democrats did not think this through, and they should have. But the defund the police message just may very well cost them some elections moving forward, which is a good thing. Police reform looms large over local races as crime rates rise. Rising crime rates and problems with policing have emerged as central issues in political battles across the country. This comes after last year's push from the left to defund the police created a minefield for local candidates to navigate. Nationally, President Joe Biden has asked Congress to navigate the same difficult political terrain by advancing a police reform proposal before May 25th, the May 25th deadline. Biden asked lawmakers during his first address to a joint session of Congress to move on police reform by the one-year anniversary of the death of George Floyd, a black man who was killed by a white police officer, blah, 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 blah. Local politics have been roiled by a rise in crime that occurred while the country was largely in lockdown during the pandemic. Los Angeles reported a 31% increase in murders this year. Let me repeat that. Los Angeles reported a 31% increase in murders this year. New York saw a 36% increase in murder, and Portland, which moved to slash millions from its police budget in the wake of last summer's protests, reported an 800% increase in homicides in the first 4 months of this year. That is insane. 800% in the first 4 months of the Biden presidency. That is a terrible statistic to have, okay? That is a massive wart on the face of the Biden administration that cannot be ignored. That is insanity, okay? Reported an 800% increase in homicides in the first 4 months of this year compared to the first 4 months of 2020 under who? President Donald J. Trump. This is still under the leadership of the local AG in Portland and Mayor Ted Wheeler, but still, this is a big, massive problem. It is a big, massive problem. And people need to understand that this is continuing to get worse and not get any better. Let's take this down. So I think we are starting to see, and I've been saying this, I've had conversations with Tim Pool. I've talked to people, you know, you guys seen me on shows, and it's like, well, what do we do? I think these communities are just going to have to fall at this point. It's the only way. People are just going to have to wake up to the reality to what these literal stupid communist agendas actually end up looking like in the real world. Is that going to finally change somebody's mind? Because I could be, listen, we have all these shows. Steven Crowder lays out the facts. Ben Shapiro lays out the facts. Alex Jones lays out the facts. All these people laying out the facts. Donald Trump lays out the facts, gets deplatformed off of Twitter. Listen, we've been talking. We're done talking. We can lay out show after show, stat after stat, fact after fact. But when people refuse to listen, there's nothing we can say anymore. Tim Pool can go on lay out a perfect case for people to see why defunding the police is going to destroy your country. I could do the same. But if people are unwilling to listen, there's nothing I can do for you. I think at that point, these communities are going to have to experience what this looks like. And America needs to watch. Other states, other cities, watch Portland, watch Los Angeles, look at San Francisco, look at New York, look at Seattle, look at Austin, Texas, look at what these policies are doing. Because if you continue to support these communist woketards known as Black Lives Matter, and you continue to give them a foothold in your community, this is what it's going to look like. Look at Minneapolis. You think that can't happen there? Oh, you better believe it. If you continue to open up the door to the communists, they want to destabilize this country, and the way they go about doing it is destabilizing law and order, defunding the police. So I warn Americans, you better wake up. You better pay attention. You better speak up. You better push back. You better start saying, no! Stop supporting Black Lives Matter. This is what these people do. This is what this organization accomplishes. Black Lives Matter claims to be fighting against violence and the brutalization of blacks. But at the same time, their policies are doing more damage to the black community than what police officers are doing at all. Literally. Do you know how many stories are coming out in Minneapolis of black families that are experiencing black on black crime that the media just does not talk about? And these families come out and say, none of these stories get covered because nobody wants to talk about it, because it hasn't been done at the hands of a police officer. Where's Black Lives Matter on that one? Because Black Lives Matter doesn't give a damn about blacks. That's my point. It's about destabilizing law and order. That's what that organization has been established to do. Period. Alrighty, guys. Well, let's do some super chats. If you guys would like to support the show, you guys can drop a super chat below or go cop some merch at the merch store. We got some new t-shirts. The link is in the description below. We have some merch for men, for women. We have some, cell phone cases, water bottles, all that cool stuff. That is how you can support this show. So if you guys got to head out and don't want to hang out in the super chats, please do me a huge favor. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and toggle on the all selection, and share this video far and wide wherever you can post a link. So if not, if you guys are going to hang around, please drop a super chat. This is how you guys can support me. I am scheduled to go down to the Tucson southern border this weekend. So if you guys would like to support this trip, we definitely can use that support. Drop a super chat or donate directly to my website at drewhlive.com on Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. You can write a little note on there as well. And if you do, I will read it on air and treat it just like a super chat. So let's get into some of these super chats as we move forward. I want to thank every single one of you that have bought merch. We've been kind of tracking that, and a lot of people have been, buying some shirts. So I appreciate it. I really do. It's really cool. So thank you guys very much for supporting the show and rocking the merch. Like I said, if you guys buy merch and you get a t-shirt, take a picture, send it to the email, drewhernandezlive@gmail.com, and we'll post it somewhere. So thank you guys very, very much for the support. Alrighty, we have some super chats coming in. We have a super chat from Caleb Stotts with the $10 super chat. We salute you, Caleb. Thank you so much, Caleb, for the support. Awesome. Keep doing what we're doing. Caleb, thank you. We intend on doing it as long as we can on this app. We have some plans moving forward for the show, but for now, we're going to just live on YouTube. But we do have some plans. So we have another super chat from the Political Latino. We have two with a $5 super chat, two $5, $10. Oh, no, three. Three from the Political Latino. The Political Latino says, "Hola, hermano, que lo que? You inspired me, primo, to start a YouTube." Dude, that is awesome. Been a week and it's been good. I'm Venezuelan. That's why I'm fighting for Trump. Hashtag USA. That's crazy, man. I really appreciate that. Thanks for the encouragement. That's what I'm saying, man. I encourage people, just go out there and do you. Okay, take your values with you. Find your talents. Find what you love. Find your career, take your values with you, and just go for it, okay? Whether you're going to be on YouTube or you want to go run for office or you want to be an educator, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, or you want to be on, you want to be a filmmaker or an editor. It doesn't matter. Just start infiltrating the culture, man. Do what these people do. They take their values with them. That's what they do. You got to do the same thing. So congratulations on your new YouTube channel, The Political Latino. Also says, "It's all good, hermano. These ratas and cucarachas are gonna pay the ultimate price. My family and I didn't escape Chavez for this crap. Gracias, Drew." And he also gives a 100 super sticker. Yeah, man. Dude, that's, I've talked to a lot of Venezuelans and it's like, I'm curious, like I'm very curious. Like I know I've seen, we've done a lot of interviews, talked to a lot of people from Venezuela. I've been involved in a lot of Hispanic organizations that do a lot of work with Venezuelans and the horror stories you hear. But it's like there is really no other way, is there, to reach the American people? Like even if you take a Venezuelan that fled the socialist terror state, right, to America, that has implemented all of these ideas that all these SJWs and woketards want to implement in this country, even if you take someone from that country and put them in front of them and show them, this is why you cannot do this in this country, I ran away from this, they'll just come out and call you a racist. There's like really nothing you can do at that point, right? It's like just totally demoralized. It's like what Yuri Biznemov said on his, what he used to say is like someone who's been fully demoralized, I mean, you could take that person and shower them with facts, but they're just not going to wake up. The only time they might wake up is when they finally realize they're in a freaking full-blown authoritarian regime. That's why I always say, man, I believe that. It's either going to have a come to Jesus moment and just be spiritually liberated, born again, and your eyes opened. I think it's a spiritual thing, man. The Bible says that the devil of this world has blinded the minds of the unbeliever. There's a spiritual aspect to some of this stuff where people they cannot see. Yes, they will not see, but they cannot see. Scary, man. Very scary. We have another super chat from I Am Real, a $25 super chat. We salute you. I Am Real says, "My mom was 4 when her non-religious mom was sent to concentration camp for not saluting a Nazi." My mom was 4 when her My mom was 4 when her non-religious mom was sent to a concentration camp for not saluting a Nazi born into fascism. Whew. My mom lives in the USA, and I fear her life will end with the complete fascist socialist takeover of the USA. That's such a deep thing to say, man. Wow. I would love to interview your mom, how she feels about all these Antifa kids. These kids, they claim that they're like the Americans fighting the Nazis on the shores of Normandy in France. They're LARPers, and that's pretty interesting, man. I mean, I've studied World War II and Nazi Germany. I've studied all these things, communist China, Mao. You've studied Stalin, Russia, USSR, and I think it's interesting when you talk to people that actually lived through that era. I wish that these people had a voice. I really do. I wish you could get someone that lived through something like that just to have a conversation with some of these kids, Off camera, Off camera. Because sometimes these kids just want to look good on camera and they don't want to look stupid in front of their friends, but I don't know, man. I don't know if the spiritual blindness would end up causing them to be disrespectful and evil and just saying they're a Nazi, even though they actually lived under the oppression of real Nazis. It's dangerous. We have another super chat from Grant Lee. We salute you with the $10 super chat. Hey, bro, I am curious of your opinion on this. I live in far western MD within walking distance of WV. Is it possible for our conservative counties can shift to WV? You know, I think the best way for the problem right now with the conservative movement is, I think what we've seen is, I mean, I've always known this, okay? So that, like, don't think that I haven't known this. You have establishment figures in the Republican Party and in the conservative movement, right? You have your Mitch McConnells. You have all these people they just want to keep the status quo. They just want to keep things the way they are, the establishment, right? The Trump factor just threw a wrench in all of that. I mean, we saw the backlash from the Democrats, but also the establishment right as well. Now, I think the biggest problem we have right now in conservatism, and if you identify as, you know, someone on the right or even in the center, I think the biggest problem we have right now is we have those that are establishment, that are anti anything that is considered populist now, okay? Being a patriot. Everything that Donald Trump stands for, patriotism, nationalism, America first, now even Republican establishment figures are now viewing that as some kind of a bad thing, okay? They're viewing populism, nationalism, America first agendas. They're viewing that as like a negative thing, even in the GOP. So I think right now the problem we have is you have that taking place while at the same time you have a lot of conservatives that are silent. They don't say anything. They don't come out. So you're never going to have views being tossed around. You're never going to have coalitions being built across states or across cities. You're never going to have these ideas cultivating across state lines or city lines. You're never going to have these things spread when people remain silent. Because the answer I always get is like, Drew, I'm just so afraid of getting canceled. It's like, bro, you're going to get canceled in the end regardless. This authoritarian push is the end. You're going to get canceled. They're going to call you a white supremacist. It doesn't matter. They already think you're a white supremacist. I'm not even white and I get called one. Okay? At this point, what do we have to lose? Answer, your freedoms, your country, your constitution. So I encourage people that are trying to cross counties, cross state lines, cross city lines, and get ideas tossed around. You really do have to find people that are willingly vocal and bold to get something done. It's the only way. And you got to avoid the establishment, especially on the right. This is why I don't endorse the Republican Party. I don't support the GOP. I won't come out and endorse them. I won't, because the establishment and the deep state lives in there too. Okay? I think a lot of people finally saw that at the end of the 2020 election very clearly. And I was warning people all 4 years of Trump, this is coming. Don't trust the GOP, man. Don't trust these Republicans. These people did not want Donald Trump in, and they want him out. Conservatives don't like when I start talking like that because it's too true. But that's what I do. All right, we got another super chat from Pressure Biden. I find your term woke Wookiee offensive. Wookiees are cute. Woke are definitely not cute. I mean, I think that's kind of like your own personal perspective. I don't know. It just kind of like came out one day, and I thought it was hilarious. It's like in my own imagination. That's just, I close my eyes and that's what I see. You know, like I just see like just millions of woke Wookiees just screaming at the top of their lungs. And it's just, I don't know. I have a very weird, bizarre imagination. So that's probably why people don't understand it. But I don't know. We have another super chat from Grant Lee, from Rachel. A $5 super chat. We salute you, Rachel. Thank you so much for the support. Rachel says, oh, people are offended at us calling them woketards? Well, I'm offended by their stupid wink face. Yes! I get this all the time. I do. I get these people in my chats and in my DMs like, you should really consider using the word WOKETARD. It's like, dude, we got communists that are calling for the destruction. We got communists on CNN calling for parents, okay? We got communists on CNN that are calling for children, okay? That are calling for the parents that are Trump supporters of children to be separated and for the parents to be thrown in re-education centers. And you're getting that at me for calling people woketards? Wake up! I'm not the problem, okay? I'm just necessary. That's what I am. I'm necessary. I'm a necessary offense to the left and to the right. And I always will be, because that is what the truth does. Don't get mad at me for being offensive. When you got communists in this country that are destabilizing the United States of America from within, when you got people on CNN calling for parents that are Trump supporters to be separated from their kids and put in re-education camps, you got bigger problems than Drew Hernandez calling a bunch of Wookiees on the left woketards. You like that, huh? I'm sorry, you guys are watching an alpha male. That's what you're watching. That's what this show is. So if I'm a little too much for you, I'm sorry. Because we live in a generation right now where you have to be pulled, you have to be bold, you have to be loud, and you have to stand up for what you believe in. I'm done being quiet. I will not be quiet. I will not tone it down because they are 100 million times louder than me. The megaphone that the left has is 100 million times louder than the one I have. So if you get offended by me being passionate and loud, then this is not the show for you. Go to your little safe space, especially conservatives. Conservatives are just as limp-wristed too sometimes. If you would tone down, I would listen. No! We tried your approach for years. We tried your cookie-cutter Mitt Romney freaking little approach for years. And people ain't listening. They're not listening anymore. We tried that Republican GOP cookie-cutter conservative little Mr. Nice Guy all clean cut. We tried that. It's not working. Okay? That's not going to defeat the communists in this country. We need people that are bold, outspoken, and loud. And if you can't get behind that, then I am not the host for you. Rant done. If you guys agree with that, drop a 1 in the comment section below. Okay, we have 3 super chats from Grant Lee. We salute you. $15 from Grant Lee. Grant, thank you. Grant Lee says, thank you, Drew. America first. No fear here. Make America great again. Yes. I refuse, man. I don't know about you guys, but I refuse. I refuse to back down. I refuse to sit here and act like a little freaking, pansy. This like cookie cutter, clean cut little guy. It's like when our country, listen, people are like, Drew, you are extremely passionate. Number one, I'm just a very passionate person. I don't know if it's because I'm Spaniard. There's just something in my blood that's just like, no, I don't know what it is. Okay. It's just in me. It's always been there. It'll always be there. But listen, I am someone, for those of you that don't know me, I covered the Black Lives Matter riots and the Antifa riots in 2020 very extensively. So I know who these people are. These are people, okay? I covered them undercover. So I've been in cars with these people. I've been in meetings with these people, and they had no idea I was there. So I have heard what they do and what they want and what they believe, okay? So my passion and aggression is appropriate towards people that want to destabilize the country that you live in. And I get all this crap from conservatives all the time in my DMs. If you would just tone it down, people would listen to you a little. No! We're dealing with people. We got fires in the streets. We got arson in the streets. We got police departments being defunded millions of dollars. We're losing our country. We're losing everything. So the last thing that I need to hear is that I'm being a little too loud. If anything, I'm not being loud enough. I love this country. I always will. I hate what this country is becoming, and I hate what is being done to this country. That is why I am so outspoken, aggressive, and bold against it. And I always will be. Always will be. I can care less. Dude, if you've been watching me and you honestly think I care about what people say, like you obviously have been watching long enough, okay? You got to have thick skin in this game. Just saying. Just saying, man. You're dealing with an alpha male here. So yes, thank you guys very, very much for the support. Like I said, I will be going down to the Tucson southern border this weekend. So if you guys would like to support that trip, you guys can give a one-time donation on my website at drewhlive.com. The link is in the description below, or go cop a t-shirt. That is how you could support me. And shout out to the DH Alliance, every single one of you that support me monthly on this channel on the membership section. We are just about done with all of our stuff, the Discord, all that good stuff. So we're about to launch that within the next week. I've had a lot going on, especially now joining Real America's Voice. I will be on Real America's Voice at least 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. So watch that network. They put out real news, and you will see me on there. So you can download the app on iOS, on Android, on Roku. You can watch it on the website, Real America's Voice, I think .news or .com. You can just search my name in the search bar on their own app or their website, Drew Hernandez, and you'll see all my interviews. So guys, thank you for the support on that as well. So I've had a pretty crazy schedule, but thank you guys for the support, because this show is supported by you. All right. My show is not on that network. This show is here, and it's supported by you. So thank you guys very much. If you guys would like to continue to support me, you guys can tune in on future shows. We do the show Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to tune in Monday through Friday and hit that bell notification and toggle on the all selection. Subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and share this video far and wide, wherever you could post a link. It literally depends on you guys, okay? I'm shadow banned. You guys can tell, right? I'm clearly deboosted on this channel. They do not want someone like me saying the things that I say, okay? It's very clear by now. It's the work that I've done. I'm not just a YouTuber. That's what people don't understand. I've had conversations with YouTubers like, man, you're so shadow. I'm like, you guys don't know what I've done. I've captured Black Lives Matter committing violent crimes. And I posted it on YouTube, and I went on Tucker Carlson like 5 times and talked about it and exposed them for who they are. So that's why YouTube has destroyed my channel. I am 100% convinced of that. So we need you guys to continue to support the channel, and we need you guys to share this video wherever you can. So thank you guys very much. And until next time, America, stay free.